to special 2-hour streaming broadcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Spotlight Over the City, and we have a +1. Give it up for the one and only Armentha Mike Cruz in the building.
Woo! Yay!
Yes, man, it's a pleasure to have you all the way from Beatmore.
Pleasure.
So,
yes.
you just explained to me about Mike, because I didn't want to just say Mike because people be looking for a guy to be up here, so, a full-fledged woman. So I wanted to give them your whole name to start out. So I'll say Mike now that they call you.
That's fine.
Let's get started a little bit about this company. You started you didn't start it. You engaged in a $50 million company. It ended up being a $50 million company where you were actually employing people and doing stuff in the community, correct?
Absolutely.
So how did that get started, and how did it get to $50 million as a
in
company?
revenue? Yeah, that's major.
Huge.
Well, it started, first of all, some of the things you're talking about in terms of Lattice Me and the other things. My spirit and my belief has always been about being empowered. Empowering others. So
Excuse
when
me
I...
1 second. Can you kill that music, bro?
Yeah, I got it.
Thank you.
So when I always knew that I had to work for myself. And so I started a business. I did something that I knew and that I knew could make money, that would help people, and something that I just knew I could be good at. So bottom line was that it was a staffing company. I started that company probably with 1.5 people. I ended up with about 1,000 employees over 28 years.
Wow.
It grew to 50 million.
Wow.
And it was national, international. We were in countries, we were in Africa, Brazil, we were all over. So it was started, the whole point was, I started because of my own knowing that we cannot continue to work for people, we have to create our own. And so when I created that, I was able to employ others, give them jobs, give them homes, give them everything they need to send their kids to college.
Wow.
So here's a copy of the book. Make sure you guys get this copy too, because this is what the book is about.
Awakened through the passage.
Very powerful book. Very powerful book. I'm very impressed because of your passion. We spoke on the phone briefly, and I got to know a little bit about your passion and what drives you. And it seems like the people is what drove you to do this. So I'll back up a little bit and ask the first question. What is the essence of the book?
Well, first of all, the book is a call to action. It's a call to action.
Call to action.
It's about creating wealth in mind, body, spirit, and waking up our DNA as a people with the knowledge of our hidden and stolen history.
I love it.
This empowers, with this history, knowing who we are and whose we are empowered to become self-sufficient, self-determined, and self-fulfilled. So that is the really essence of the book. Now, having done the book, what really drove me to do, the second piece of that book, that was a major goal, was to put that knowledge into practical application so that our youth can go through a process, and in the process they can have the tools and the resources that they need. That basically that's it.
And you did just that. I haven't finished reading the book, but I've read through the book a little bit just to get the premise of it. And when I tell you that you give tools, you give facts, you give a lot of things that's helpful. You talk about things that's important for us as a community. And so that's what we are. We call ourselves the People Champ of Media.
Yes, we are.
And so we try to be that same people doing exactly what you're doing now on a smaller scale for now. And we use our platform to do just what you say. Reach the people and talk about things that's important and try to create unity in the whole nine. So I see in the book that's what you were about from day one. You were staffing, you were helping people. You were doing some amazing things.
Yeah.
Well, basically, I would say this. After in the business, one of the things that is so important, we have to create legacy.
Right.
Yeah.
We have to understand that whatever we have to reach out and give it to others, and so that we grow. So as a process, not only did I do the book and create the company for $50 million, but I created other businesses. Some of those businesses are $25 million businesses today.
Yes,
They were young people I took under my wing, I trained them, and then I put them out. So I've done that with several people.
I am so
Yeah,
impressed.
so that's very impressive. So you mentioned wealth throughout the book. How are you defining wealth?
Wealth, I'm defining wealth in terms of mind, body, spirit, and generational wealth. We have to be whole. So let's just say that once we get that wealth, because I talk about how we're going to achieve that wealth in the book, but prior to getting that wealth, we've got to know what to do with it. We have to be right in our mind and our spirit so that we can use it to attain economic power and political power.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is a fact.
That is a fact.
So, what is the difference between your book when you talk about finances and other financial tools? Or
There are
books?
many books about finances, creating wealth. And in this particular case, the difference is that I actually have a process in the book where I put our youth through a rites of passage. Now, my real passion and my real goal is to create a rites of passage or a program that becomes a tradition in the African American community, so that when our youth are ready to pass from one stage to another, they pass through that stage with the knowledge, with the tools, with the information that they need, not only to survive, but to thrive. So it's a wholeness that I'm talking about here.
Wholeness.
A wholeness. So what made
That's
you have
important.
this call to action? Because what you're saying, all of the things that you're speaking on right now are very important for our community, especially today, as we
Yeah.
go through furloughs and
Yeah.
crazy presidents and politics and foolishness. What gave you the vision to say this is where we need to go?
You know, first of all, as you indicated that I really have grown a business, and after growing that business, I knew that I had another call to action.
Mhm.
I'd already completed that goal. So my next call to action was really about our youth. That's what I had to do. So I read an article in the Wall Street Journal, and that article really set me off. And it scared me. The article said that it would take African Americans and 228 years before they would receive economic or get economic parity with whites.
Wow.
And having 228 years, I mean, we've been enslaved for many years. That continues. So I said, we have to do something about that. So when I read the article, I went further and did the research, found out who had actually done that, and put out that information, what they based it on. So what caused me and what motivated me, they said, as bad as things appear to be for African Americans, by the way, they said it would take Hispanics 89 years to receive the same economic parity.
Wow, but us
28 years, yes.
Wow.
So they think we're a little slow.
They think we're a little slow.
Yeah.
So I'm saying, oh no, because see, we are brilliant people.
Yes,
Yes,
And
ma'am.
we
we're
are
very
brilliant.
much so
Everything
brilliant.
you name in this actually in this country, we invented.
We invented.
Computer chip,
We just couldn't
internet,
afford the patent
everything.
and
We just
stuff
couldn't
like that,
afford
so
to.
they
But
took it and sold it.
historically and even now. So what gave me inspiration was this. It said that as bad as things seem, the only way, they said there is hope. The only way this can be reversed is that and 80% of that 228 years can be knocked out if there is economic wealth. And how are we going to get that? We get that by starting with our children,
Yeah.
by giving them a savings, and then teaching them how to save, how to invest, how to grow. So by the time they reach a certain age, they are no longer poor and begging. They have now learned how to actually and understand the whole concept about how to use money and how to grow that money. So that was what the article said. So I said, if that's the case, let's get moving. I'm going to do this book.
Yeah.
And in this book, I'm going to write this book. I'm going to start off with our history. So we have to understand who we are first.
That's the fact.
I mean, you go from Egypt. There's no question we were the first there. And you go all the way through our history in Africa, and you look at all of the great civilizations that we have not known about. We don't know about. We've never been told about them.
At all.
But the Moors, I mean, how they went into Europe and really developed Europe
civilized
because they were
it.
in the Ice
They
Ages.
civilized
They were
America.
in the Ice
They
Ages.
taught George Washington how to govern.
That's
The
exactly
Moors.
right.
That's why we have our first treaty with the Morocco.
That's exactly
Because
right.
the Moors governed, showed them how to govern. So
Wow.
yeah, I'm woke.
And there's the things
I'm
that so my goal is call to action, make us aware, create an awareness.
Mhm.
Once we know and we have that awareness, then we start to take action. We don't have time to wait.
We do not.
We have
time.
no time to wait.
Yeah, time
Especially
is
so
winding
now
down.
is the time that people should see this more than ever, because it's being exposed. And so if we were creating that wealth that we should have been creating all along, we wouldn't be really concerned about a president at all.
Well, I said something. I was watching something the other day which really impressed me. It was a guy who wrote Power Economics. I can't think of his name right now, but I was very impressed. Basically, he laid it out. He said, this is what needs to happen in terms of being, he talked about 5 stories, the first floor being economics. And what he said was, if we just come together and pool our resources, and start to act as one. No matter, we vote as one, we buy from each other, we start to do that. He said overnight, we can become the most powerful group in this country. And he said that once we come together, it's not about, it's about how we support, let's say we support the politicians. We come together, so we're going to support you because you are going to do what we want in terms of our own agenda. And then that politician is going to do whatever they have to do because now they've got one big block of people who are behind. Right now, we're confused. And we don't do always what's best for us. We have to start acting out of our own self-interest with these politicians. So what he said was, if we do this, then we become very powerful, and we've got to start buying from each other. We did that. You know the story of Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Well, that's right, because I'm the president of Black Wall Street DMV. And so the whole thing about that movement is we had everything we needed by default because we couldn't buy elsewhere. And so when we finally got a chance to buy elsewhere, instead of us keeping the money in the community, we took it straight out of the community and never brought it back. And so that's the problem right now with us. We have to get back to wealth. That's my thing to do over here. That's what I'm involved in right now.
Yep.
Unifying. You don't get many people that know about unity though, because we as a race have slave mentality. So we first have to get rid of the slave mentality and don't feel threatened because another brother or sister is trying to help you.
Right.
So I really feel gratitude to have you here because I can see your passion about what you're doing, and you didn't just do it for money because you're good.
Yep.
And so you kept going, and you kept going, and you kept sowing. So I just thank you.
We
for
need
being
more people like
who
you.
are
Thank you so much.
as a woman. And so my last question to you, because you're a sister one and you Black too, so that's a double jeopardy. How did you overcome some of the obstacles, or what was the main obstacle that you had? Because I know you faced many.
Well,
so what was the main obstacle?
My main obstacle was being perceived as less than. No matter where you go and what you do, you have to overcome that being perceived as less than.
Yeah.
For me, I knew I was never less than. I always knew who I was. I felt always great about myself. So
That's
with
wonderful.
me feeling good about myself, that didn't bother me. And because I worked in corporate America, I understood corporate America. I understood what they responded to, what they reacted to. And because of that, I went into these major corporations. I can tell you, I dealt with Fortune 50 companies, not Fortune 500, Fortune 50. So I was able to go in, I knew and understood what I needed to do. So that was what, anyway, so.
We are extremely blessed. That one time for my
Yeah.
We are extremely blessed to have you in our presence and to have you as a part of the community. And if we could only get like 10 or 15 more of you, which is really going to be difficult, we could be all right as a community because I see what you do and I applaud you for that and I salute you for being who you are. Because I know that it's tough to get to where you've gotten. I know that it's not a simple task. But you stayed the course, so salute to you, and shout out to Donnie Glover for even putting me on to you. Big More News in the building. Shout out to him, and he has a new show as well down there that we're going to be tuned, locked and loaded. So I'm going to go down there Monday and support that. Okay. So I thank you for coming on the platform. I'm sorry about the technicals. I know we look like we lip singing and carrying on up here. But the next time you come, we'll have it all figured out for you.
Right.
Yep.
And thank you very much for having me. And this is the type of forum I need to be on. I need people to hear it. I need the people to do it.
I
need
agree.
the people to understand that we must break that slave mentality.
We have to.
And understand our power.
We do. We have to know. And so the first millionaire that I ever met in Charlotte, North Carolina, that was doing business with me, older guy, Mr. Lane. Shout out Mr. Lane. He told me one thing early. He said, "A poor man is not what you have. It's what you. It's not your possessions. It's your mentality." And so once he taught me that, I realized I was wealthy. And so it took a person like him to come in my life to show me that I could have something. Because a lot of times when you come from nothing, you don't think you belong having anything. And so I thank you for showing Black people like myself that we can have something. $50 million worth of something. So how about that? Give it up one more time.
Give it up. Thank you so much. You want to tell people how to get a copy of the book?
Wait. Social media, where can they get this book?
Oh, you can. It's on Amazon.
Amazon.
You can order it on Amazon.
Okay, go to Amazon and make sure
you're gonna
you
go
get
through.
this.
The book is called "Awakened Through the Passage."
Awakened through the
passage.
Yep.
By Armentha Mike Cruz.
And you got social media?
I'm ashamed to say,
It's okay. I think it's okay.
I wouldn't be
because
ashamed if I made $50 million doing anything. I don't even do social media. Find me. If I make $50 million, find me, okay? Look me up. Look me up.
Google her.
Yeah, Google me. That's what you need to do.
Google
We'll
her.
be right back after this commercial.
Right back.
The city.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey,